Brucey came into my accommodation block and he was, mate, have you ever thought about rowing over an ocean? And I was like, no, but I have now.
So I remember saying to my mum when I was about 6 or 7, Mum, how do you climb Mount Everest? She said, don't be ridiculous.
An adventure is when you're breaking your own horizons. Any time that you're having your eyes open to new possibilities is an adventure to me.
I just value the experience. You got a finite amount of time that you're alive for.
It's absolutely tiny. I think that's your world, isn't it? That is your life raft.
I'm looking forward to doing it with the boys.
Fair winds and following seas, baby.
Really excited, in equal measures apprehensive. The idea that I'm going to have to row across 3,000 miles of notoriously treacherous waters.
Now, 4 British ocean rowers are trying to break the world record for the fastest row across the Atlantic Ocean, aiming to get from New York to Southampton here in the UK in under 43 days. It's to raise funds and awareness for the military mental health charity Heads Up. That's because 3 crew members are either army veterans or about to retire from the military.
They call it the concrete jungle for a reason. That was my first time in New York and it was hectic and busy. We did our training row around the Statue of Liberty, which was great fun as well to get out on the water. And we were like, okay, everything seems to work, so that's all we've got to worry about. Now let's just try and just sit and wait. We intended to set off on the Monday and we ended up going on the Thursday, and so there was this waiting game of knowing the weather wasn't going to be right on Monday, and so we ended up having a week and a half there. Launch on the day, it was a weird launch. Obviously we got pushed back because we had a sunny day the day before, and as we were about to launch we had to push it back with the tides and the currents.
Yeah, short onto the fairness stern, mate. Yeah.
Give me a fair winds and following seas.
Oh no, I can't do it on the spot.
It was 1600, about 1600. So, and it poured with rain. And there was thunder and lightning.
Like proper tropical shit. Which was funny, it's like an ominous omen before we ran past the Statue of Liberty with this huge thunderstorm going off.
That bridge is a really visceral point for all of us because it was the last point where we were surrounded on the river on each side and we felt kind of, you know, we're still on a training row, everything's fine, we're in civilization. And obviously, as I said, we left at 4 p.m. So as it, you know, we crossed the bridge around 6 p.m. or whatever it was, the sun was setting, the waves were getting bigger. You can see Long Island, you can see New Jersey, and they're starting to get further away, and the sun sets. You're like, oh no, we're here. This is it now, this is serious.
Good evening, it is 11:20 p.m. and it's time to update you on the reality of how grim this crossing is going to be. We always knew it was going to be grim and we've barely even started. It is an absolute sauna in this coffin. I don't know if, let me even clear this mirror. The camera's getting fogged immediately as soon as I start talking to you. This is what we're working with in here. This is the footwell. I can't really see as it's light. This obviously blocks a lot of the sunlight, which is great, but it is a furnace. We've got this light here and you really can't see, can you? There we go.
20 past 1 in the morning, 1 3-hour shift down. If we do this in 40 days, 159 shifts to go. Bash.
So I was obviously extremely scared at the start, and so everyone always says to you the hardest part of an ocean row are the first 5 days, and Nutty, Brucey and Jack have all done ocean rows before, and my mental framing going into it was don't worry about the entire row, just worry about the first 5 days. You know they're going to be the hardest, go from there. So I was ready for, you know, all like maximum mental resilience and hardship in that moment, and boy did I need it because it was rough at the start.
Managed to get some pretty sunburnt legs early on in the game. Ooh. Which isn't ideal. But yeah, last few hours until we hit the Gulf Stream, seems to have picked up some sort of favourable current already, because we went from 2.5 knots to 3 knots over the course of a few hours, and hopefully on that conveyor belt east.
To break the record, we needed to cover an average of 70 nautical miles a day for 43 days straight. The first 6 days tested us and our boat close to its limit, as we tried to get off the continental plate and into the Gulf Stream as quickly as possible. Battling headwinds, relentless waves, and crippling seasickness, with none of us able to get much food down.
Seasickness is fine when I have my eyes shut, so just not focusing on too much in the cabin while we adjust. Taking tablets, obviously. Yeah, pretty rough conditions out there already.
In the first week, we averaged just 50 miles per day. Then, as the ocean floor dropped to 4,000 meters below us, the waves got even bigger, and the North Atlantic weather systems closed in fast.
About a week in, we had to deploy the parachute anchor for the first time. And normally when you deploy the parachute anchor, the boat orientates itself in the direction of the swell, so the waves come and hit you from the bow, which means you're not going to have any lateral issues. Whereas in this condition, we had a weird current and swell whereby the anchor was one way and the swell was coming in perpendicular to the boat.
Putting the parachute anchor out. It's midnight. First time.
It was too rough for anyone to be out on deck, and we have very limited cabin space. So Brucey was in the bow cabin on his own. Nutty, Jack and I were all in the stern cabin.
It was so hot, condensation dripping off the ceiling. So I got out the cabin and I'm, just on deck, just, I say chilling, but it's high seas, big waves, boof, boof, I'm getting sprayed. Clipped on, Adam comes out, I'm pretty sure he's just in his boxers.
He wants to go and inspect the parachute anchor. I'm checking that nothing's come off the deck. Seeing these beam on waves coming in with some regularity. Then he says, yeah, parachute anchor's all good. And we're on the deck together. He faces me, I'm facing him. We're both kind of holding onto the safety lines, just chilling out and cooling down.
And I just looked over my right shoulder and I just saw this monster wave, big 12-footer. And I knew, and Adam knew as well. We were like, fuck. And it just nailed us.
Loud crash on the side, and I heard the lads outside go, ah, shit. Understatement. And then the boat flipped upside down. I landed on my neck, upside down in the cabin.
If the boat's upside down and I open the door to swim out, that's that done. I can't, that bow cabin's been compromised. And the weight of the water is now inside what used to be an air bubble, so the boat won't self-right.
I was like, ah, shit. Is this it? And then it flipped back over. It felt like a long time it was upside down for. And then all of a sudden it just went straight back over again. So it threw me forwards. So I got thrown around the cabin quite a bit, which I didn't enjoy. Fucking hurt my neck quite a bit. And there was just shit everywhere, all over the cabin, and there's loads of water in it as well. So that wasn't ideal.
Been on parachute anchor 6 hours, just inverted. A perfect combination of terrifying and exciting. Got my skull cap on now, I'm in the cabin. So here we go.
Everything's pretty damp, the ocean's pretty ferocious, and everything's wet, and we can't row, and we're on parachute anchor.
Yeah, Johnny, NYPD, Johnny, gave us this bottle of whiskey in as a parting gift. And then the other two aren't big drinkers, but me and Nutty are. So we just smashed that thing. And then it calmed down and we just rode off. Yeah, I was weirdly not. If I'm in a bit of a tricky situation, my immediate emotional response is like laughing, like not in a funny way. Just I was like trying to make fun out of it, but that's like my panic response, as opposed to being deeply shaken, which is funny.
For anyone that doesn't know, the North Atlantic has a 50% success rate. So of all the crews that attempt to cross it, 50% succeed and 50% fail. And the death rate is just over 5% as well.
Yeah, I think the realisation of, you know, we've only done X amount of miles and we've got quite a few more to go. Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't really considered the magnitude of the sheer length of time that this was going to take.